Welcome back to Subliminal Signals. I'm Carlton, and we're 6 episodes into this journey of identifying and resetting the thought patterns that keep us stuck in cycles we don't even recognize. If you've been following along, you know we've been tackling some pretty heavy hitters: feeling behind, perfectionism, waiting for certainty, people pleasing, and timing excuses. But today's subliminal signal is particularly insidious because it disguises itself as protection when it's actually sabotage. Just like the others, it's a signal that activates right when you're about to succeed. The voice that gets louder as you get closer to your goals. The thought that makes you pull back when you should be pushing forward. Today's signal is: what if I can't handle success? And if you just felt a little uncomfortable hearing that, or if you thought, but that's a legitimate concern, then this episode is absolutely for you. Now, most people think fear of failure is what holds them back. But I've worked with a lot of people who actually are more afraid of success than they are of failure. Because failure is familiar. Failure is safe. Failure doesn't change your identity or relationships or daily life in ways you can't control. But you see, success changes everything. And for many people, that's actually terrifying. When you succeed, people notice you differently. They have expectations. They might treat you differently, some with admiration and others with jealousy or resentment. You might outgrow relationships. You might have to maintain a level of performance you're not sure that you can sustain. And here's the really sneaky part about success fear, I should say. It activates right at your breakthrough moments. Just when you're close to the deal, you're getting ready to publish the book, you're about to launch the business, you take that promotion. And that's when the voice kicks in. What if I can't handle this? What if I'm not ready for what comes next? So, this is where self sabotage comes into play. You begin to procrastinate on the final steps. You sabotage yourself. You find reasons to delay. You put obstacles in front of you that weren't there before, all because your brain is trying to protect you from the danger of getting what you want. Now, here's what happens in your brain when you get close to achieving something significant. Your brain has what psychologists call a comfort zone thermostat. Now, that's a Carltonism, not necessarily an actual scientific term, right? It's constantly monitoring your life to make sure everything stays within familiar parameters. Remember, we talked before about how your brain is a pattern matcher and it wants to keep you in those historical norms. Your brain interprets anything that goes beyond that normal pattern as a threat to your identity and your social connections. And this is where your amygdala, the alarm system in your brain, starts firing those warning signals. Not because success is actually dangerous, but because it's unfamiliar. And unfamiliar equals potentially dangerous in your brain's ancient wiring. And at the same time, your brain starts running scenarios about all the ways success could go wrong. What if you can't maintain it? What if you disappoint people? What if you discover you're not who you thought you were? What if success isolates you from the people you care about? These aren't just random worries. Your brain is actively generating these fears to convince you to stay in your comfort zone where it feels safe. But here's what your brain doesn't understand. And that's kind of a weird way to put it. Staying small to avoid the challenges of success is actually the riskiest choice of all. Let me say that again. Staying small to avoid the challenges of success is actually the riskiest choice of all, because it guarantees you'll never discover what you're truly capable of. And that's one of the deepest fears about success, is that fear of identity change. When you succeed, you can't pretend to be the same person anymore. You have to own a new version of yourself. And that can feel like losing who you are. And I see this all the time with people who come from families or communities where success isn't the norm. They're afraid of that achieving their goals will make them different from their loved ones. They're afraid of being seen as thinking they're better than anyone else. And I can agree, and I can say that I identify with this particular part of what I wrote. Like, being one, or at least on one side of my family, being one of the first to ever graduate from college, being one of the ones that, has some of the trappings of success in their lives, having worked in the different environments that I've worked in. I've had those worries, those fears, and tried to minimize a lot of what I've done in my life because I don't want to be seen as bragging or that I'm better than anyone else. And even in my own life, this is when that unconscious sabotage begins to show up. And you do that because you're trying to maintain that sense of belonging to the environment that you are used to operating in. You downplay your achievements, like I said before. You don't pursue certain opportunities because you're worried about what people might think about what you're doing. Those, I always call them the strange notions that go through your brain. Uh, they create drama or problems right when things are going well. And this is something akin to like survivor's guilt before you've even survived. You're feeling guilty about a success you haven't even achieved yet. But here's what I want you to understand: you can succeed and still be yourself, and you can grow and still maintain your values. You can achieve your goals and still care about the same people. Success doesn't have to mean abandoning who you are. It can mean becoming more fully who you're meant to be. Now, I'm going to take a sip of some tea here because I've been talking a lot this evening. And as we're talking about the deep subconscious fears that sabotage our success, I'm reminded of why I became certified in hypnotherapy. These subliminal signals we've been exploring, they live in your subconscious mind. And while the conscious reset tools I share in these episodes are powerful, sometimes you need to go deeper. And that's why the Subliminal Signals podcast is always sponsored by Kaleidoscope Coaching Services and the work that I do as a hypnotherapist. In a hypnotherapy session, I work with clients to help them access the subconscious patterns that create these success fears and actually reprograms them at the source. Instead of just managing the thoughts when they come up, we can change the underlying beliefs that generate them. Now, if you've been listening to these episodes and resonating deeply with these patterns, and if you're ready to do the deeper work of rewiring these subconscious signals, I'd love to work with you in a personalized hypnotherapy session. These are 60-minute sessions where we create custom inductions designed specifically for your goals and your challenges. We can address success fears, imposter syndrome, self-sabotage patterns, or any of the subliminal signals we've covered in this series. As a listener of the Subliminal Signals podcast, you can use coupon code SUBLIMINAL and that will give you a discount on services that I provide. And you can book at coachingkaleidoscope.com, or you can email me directly at coach@coachingkaleidoscope.com. And with that being said, let's get back to conquering those success fears. This has been your commercial break. Success fears show up in different ways for different people. And I want you to see if you recognize yourself in any of these four patterns. Do you suffer, or are you in the idea of the imposter? This is where I don't deserve this success. That's like the thought that goes through your mind. You're always worried that someone's going to figure out that you're not as capable as they think you are. You're afraid success will expose you as a fraud. Then there's the overwhelmed person, overwhelmed pattern. And this is where, you say things like, I can't handle the pressure and responsibility that comes with success. You're afraid that you'll crumble under the weight of achievement. Then there's the abandoned pattern. And this is the if I succeed, I'll lose the people I care about. They won't relate to me anymore. And you're afraid success will isolate you. And then also there's the feeling of being trapped. And this is the idea of once I succeed, I'll be stuck maintaining this level forever. And you'll say things like, what if I can't? Like you're afraid success will become a prison of expectations. And which one of these resonates most with you? I would say that for me, I'm a combination of several of these, or at least I should say these patterns have shown up in my life, all of them, particularly the imposter. I deal with technology in my 9 to 5 job when I'm not doing this. And I'm always running across new tech, new tools, new software, new programming languages, new patterns of development. And so can often feel like when I walk into a scenario like that, like, oh, maybe I'm not that good of a developer. Maybe I'm not that good as tech as I always say that I am because I struggle so hard with these new things. But I've had to learn to understand that struggling with new things is normal. It's what everybody has to do. In order for you to get better, you've got to work through it. Definitely the one about being trapped in a prison of expectations. The more that I grow in my career, the more that I grow in what I'm doing, I feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to keep doing it. And that can definitely lead to being overwhelmed as well. So a little bit of all of those resonates with me. Now, here's your reset for this week. Instead of saying, what if I can't handle success? I want you to say, I can handle success one step at a time. Let's try it again. Instead of worrying, what if I can't handle success? Imagine and say, I can handle success one step at a time. Now, this reset requires more than just thinking, though, and even saying things out loud. It requires you to visualize. And this is where the exercise for this week comes into play. Let's call it a success visualization exercise. So, step one, I want you to define what your version of success is. Now, this is key. I don't want you to define what society's version or your family's version or your friend's version of success is. I want you to define what your version of success is. What does success look like for you? And I want you to be specific. Then I want you to imagine yourself living that success. Like seriously, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to see yourself in that reality. What does a typical day look like? How do you feel? How do you move through the world? And I want you to, after that, identify your support system. Who are the people who celebrate your success? Who maintains and helps you maintain balance? Who keeps you grounded? And then in step 4, I want you to practice handling challenges. In your visualization, as you're sitting there and imagining yourself in that future state, I want you to imagine facing a difficult situation from your successful position. See yourself handling it with grace, getting help when needed, and learning from mistakes. And finally, I want you to anchor that feeling. What's the dominant emotion in your successful life? Is it confidence? Is it peace? Is it joy? And I want you to feel that emotion fully. Then I want you to anchor it with a physical gesture, like touch your heart or take a deep breath, whatever feels right. With my clients, especially my hypnosis clients, I have them do things like touch your fingers together like this, or, shaking your fist, or doing something that resonates with you and also resonates with the feeling you're trying to convey. So if you're feeling peaceful, putting your hands over your heart and feeling your heartbeat. Whatever feels right for you, I want you to anchor that feeling in your body with a physical gesture. And then I want you to practice this visualization daily. Your brain needs to become familiar with success before you can comfortably step into it. If you want an example of this kind of future self visualization, I have a video on the YouTube channel for Subliminal Signals about meeting your future self. And I go through a brief exercise that I had done with a client that week about stepping into that future self, like literally, well, not literally, imagining yourself stepping into a time machine and going forward in time to see yourself having already achieved the goal that you're after. So I would definitely, it'll either be one of those YouTube cards, or it'll be in the show notes, a link to the video. Now, let me share some truths about success that might challenge your assumptions. Number one, and this is one that I've had to grasp with, success is not a destination. It's a process. You don't arrive at success and then have to maintain it perfectly forever. It's an ongoing journey of growth, learning, and adjustment. Truth number two, successful people struggle too. They don't have it all figured out. They just learn to be comfortable with not having it all figured out while still moving forward. And they also are still moving through this journey, this process of embracing the success that they've had. I can't tell you how many very successful people that I deal with in my practice that also still struggle with the idea of being successful. So don't feel like someday you're going to get past it. There's always going to be that tension, but you're going to have tools and you're going to understand what to do with the energy that's created from that tension. Truth number three is you can succeed and still be yourself. Success doesn't require you to become someone you don't recognize. It requires you to become more fully who you already are. And truth number four, you're already handling complexity. Look at your life right now. You're managing relationships, you're managing responsibilities and challenges and opportunities. You have more capacity than you think. And then the last one, truth number five, success creates capacity for more success. That means that as you grow, you're creating a greater capacity for success. The skills and confidence and resources that come with success actually make future challenges easier to handle, not harder. So this week, I want you to practice success readiness. This means acting as if you already handle the success. You can already handle the success you want. So how would the successful version of you handle your current challenges? How would they approach relationships? How would they manage their time and energy? How would they think about problems and opportunities? And I want you to start embodying that person now. Don't wait until you achieve success to become the person who can handle it. Become that person first, and the success will follow. Now, this might mean setting some boundaries. Successful people are very focused on protecting their energy. It's definitely going to mean investing in yourself. Successful people prioritize their growth. You're going to need to build your support network. We can't do this alone. And if you want to be successful, you need a team with you to rally around and to work with. You're going to need to take calculated risks. You've got to have some level of some uncertainty, and you've got to be comfortable with that. And you've got to celebrate the small wins. You need to acknowledge your progress, not just the big moments, but like the small steps that you make every day. And that's what you need, because what happens when you become comfortable with the idea of your own success is you stop sabotaging yourself right before you break through. And you recognize the fear voice and you choose to move forward anyway. You'll start making better decisions, and decisions made, or you start making decisions from abundance instead of scarcity. You'll take opportunities that align with your goals instead of playing it safe. And the third one is you'll begin attracting relationships and opportunities that match your new energy. People who are successful and comfortable with success are drawn to others who share that comfort. You'll develop resilience. So when the challenges come, and believe me, they will, you will handle them as learning opportunities rather than evidence that you can't succeed. And lastly, you will inspire others to embrace their own success potential. When you're comfortable with your success, you give others permission to be comfortable with theirs. So, with all that having been said, I want to give you explicit permission for something. You are allowed to succeed. You are allowed to outgrow your current circumstances. You are allowed to achieve things that others in your family or community haven't achieved yet. You are allowed to want more and go after it. Your success doesn't take anything away from anyone else. In fact, it will create a model for what's possible. It shows others that they can succeed too. And you don't have to stay small to make others comfortable. You don't have to dim your light to avoid standing out. You don't have to sabotage your success to maintain your belonging. The people who truly care about you want you to succeed. And the ones who don't, well, that tells you everything you need to know about the health of those relationships. And if you're ready to become comfortable with your own success and your own potential, come join us in the Story Shift Circle. We just are kicking off our Get Started Challenge, and I'm slowly building out all of the different challenges within the community. And there are people there that are already practicing and embodying the successful versions of themselves, as well as getting started on the goals that they want to move forward on. And so it's about getting comfortable with growth and with visibility and with the possibility that you might actually get everything you've been working towards. Because success is coming whether you're ready or not. The question is, will you be prepared to handle it with grace? The link to the Story Shift Circle is in the show notes, and I'd love to see what success readiness looks for you. So until next time, I want you to remember, you can handle more than you think you can. You're already handling complexity, challenges, and responsibilities every day. Success is just more of what you're already capable of managing. The fear of success is really a fear of change, a fear of the unknown, a fear of outgrowing who you've been. But growth is what you're here for. Change is how you evolve. The unknown is where all the possibilities live. And your success is not a threat to your identity. It's the fulfillment of it. You're not meant to stay small. You're meant to discover what you're truly capable of when you stop limiting yourself. So thanks for being here, and thanks for being willing to examine even the fears that don't make logical sense. I want to thank you for considering that maybe, just maybe, you can handle success better than you think you can. And I'll see you next week with another subliminal signal that's probably keeping you smaller than you're meant to be. Until then, keep resetting, and remember, the success you're afraid of can't handle. Let me try that again. Until then, remember the success I messed up my notes. How crazy is that? I want you to understand in this moment, right? Don't be afraid that you can't handle exactly the success that you're meant to live. You're more than capable of being and handling the goals and the achievements that you're meant to handle, to get. So I want you to live in that success. And I want you to pray for me as I work on my notes for next time. I'll see you then. Carlton is out.